Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Spring Sweet Spring. I was going to say Snow Sweet Snow because that's how used to it I am. But no, not quite. The seasons have changed and so have we. And who are we? Well, I'm the Eternal J. I'm joined by Dwayne. Big shout out to T-Time and Yumi for filling in and doing the first half of the show. The second half of the show goes the honour of us and what a show it's set to be. Two best of threes. You saw the bracket before the break. And well, one of those matches definitely looked to be very interesting indeed. And that's the match that we kick things off here. The Russian derby between Spirit and forZe. A match that you certainly, Dwayne, are really looking forward to.
Mate, there is nothing I love more than a derby. There is nothing I much more love even further than a CIS derby because it's wild. Anything can happen. We've heard it in so many interviews. We've heard it on social media. Anyone can win when it comes to a CIS derby. And when you've got powerhouses like Spirit and forZe that have just, at least the core's been together for so damn long, there's so much history there.
Absolutely. So many maps that we can break down and get into it as the day rolls on. Of course, our second series will be Furia versus Sinners. Of course, Furia, one of the last one of the last three invited teams still standing, of course, with Ents being eliminated a little bit earlier on today. And with them and Spirit looking as the favourites in their respective series, they hope to try and keep things together in that particular respect. So let's start talking about the Spirit squad. Obviously, we know them from all of the big major tournaments. They are a Tier 2 success story, or one of the Tier 2 success stories that have come out in the last year or so, and their result in Katowice really put them on the map. Since then, they've been taking consistent top 4 placements in a lot of big tournaments, and right now they look like one of the favourites, I want to say, in this entire bracket here.
I don't know how Spirit have done it, but they've always been able to deliver like up-and-coming talent. Like, think back to when SDY came on this lineup. No one had even heard of him when he first joined this team, and I say that it's now been like 3 years or so that he's been here. And then you've sort of got some more veteran guys. We saw that Mir had a little bit more of a stint on Gambit before joining this team. Chopper had been around for a little while, and then they pick up sort of Magix and Dexter, and you're kind of looking at them thinking, well, who are these guys? They're young, they're up-and-coming, and this lineup's it's a powerhouse. Like, they're towards the top end of the CIS scene. They've been doing really well as of late, and for them, we haven't seen them in a relog event. I think the last one was 9-5-3 that they ended up taking. Outside of that, we haven't actually seen them in these kind of circuits for a while now.
Sounds about right, I think, yeah. I don't remember them being part of Snow Sweet Snow, but you mentioned obviously the slightly lesser-known names of Dexter and Magix. I think a lot of people know who Dexter is, considering what he was able to achieve in the teams previous to the Spirit lineup. But again, their opposition is going to be the forZe camp, who they themselves have been through quite a number of changes as of late, especially at the beginning of the year. I actually wanted to start focusing on those roster changes, in fact, because we mentioned this team and we saw how they were together for the longest time as that main 5-man core. I think they hadn't made a change since like 2018 or something like that. Yeah. And in this particular context, they made 2 changes back in February with Kenzie and Zorti coming in place of FaceCrack and Power. Now, initially, it looked like a really good move, and it looked like forZe were going to have a really, really good showing. But unfortunately, since then, it hasn't quite been as successful as forZe would like to be here, Dwight.
It did kind of come out of left field. Like, I know that 2020 wasn't the best of years for forZe, but I don't think anyone really saw a roster change coming. And then you kind of pick up a couple of youngsters again, Kenzie and Zorti from that ex-ethereal side, who were some decent players, but just maybe sort of struggling to find their feet in this lineup, at least when it came to them transitioning over. I think the last maybe 2 or 3 weeks or so has actually been very consistent and very good looking for the forZe side. But this is going to be another challenge. We know that they beat VP recently. We know that they beat Complexity. Now they've got to take down a team like Spirit. It's going to be a tough affair for a team like that.
Well, they have got a lot of history between each other, so it's an appropriate time to get into the picks and bans. Train and Vertigo taken out as the first couple of maps, and Mirage and Nuke coming in as the first 2 that were played. Break it down from here, Drake. Tell me what we got.
Well, Mirage is just a stock standard pick for the forZe side. Like, they pick into a lot of it. For Spirit, they've actually got probably one of the deepest map pools when it does come out of the CIS region. So for them, we do sometimes see a little bit of versatility when it comes to their map pool. Normally try and pick into Dust 2 straight away. If that's not an option, they can lean into like an overpass or a train, but they're able to get that through. So at least the first 2 picks coming through from either team, very comfortable to start off.
Yeah, and Dust 2 being at the side of map is the one thing that I'm focused on mostly because it's been played in every one of the last 5 series that we're seeing between forZe and Spirit. They've usually gone to 3 maps, especially in the last 4 of the 5 series, but every single time it's always been Dust 2, and it's always been won by forZe. Now, there's a couple of intricacies about this team. Now, we know that the main 3-man core is what we're focusing on when we go back about history between forZe and Spirit, because the changes made means that it's a very different lineup. And this will be the first time we see this new forZe lineup take on the likes of Spirit. So for them, it's going to be a very important day, I believe, and a very important match. And I think that having Dust 2 as a decider is a really, really good map for them to lean to.
It is, but it isn't. I think in terms of the upset potential, you probably want to play them on Dust 2. The only problem is Dust 2 is like one of the strongest maps in the map pool to come through for the Spirit side. So even as it coming through from a decider, things look good from the outset in terms of the maps that are being played, but there is going to be some risk going into that. I think for forZe, they have rolled the dice a little bit by not banning Dust 2 earlier in towards the wave of the veto. So for them, it's going to really come down to a third map, and it probably should come down to Dust 2 to decide it.
Well, Mirage was the first map that was picked in by the likes of forZe, and it was played in the last series. It was still won by Spirit, though. So if they want to get something decent in this matchup, they're going to have to start on this map up. So I want to get to predictions, Dwight. How do you feel about this series? Hey, where do you think it's going to go?
I'm thinking 2-1 towards Spirit. I think forZe can give them a really good run for their money. I think that the series will be close. I doubt either team will be able to take it in 2, but yeah, I'm thinking 3 maps over the way to Spirit.
I can see 3 maps of Spirit as well. I think forZe will have a good time, but I do fear that Dust 2 map pick. Again, having seen that map, seeing how many times it's gone the way of the forZe side, I have my doubts as to whether or not they'll be able to have the easiest of affairs on the Spirit camp. But let's see how well they'll do. Pistol round has gone live with SDY having the utility on the Spirit camp. No defuse kit in with the CT setup, but the same can be said for the forZe camp. No utility of their own right, just straight Glocks and pistols. And Dexter taking that first contact in with that kill with Almuza, kicks things off with first blood.
This is just an info play now coming out for the CTs. They've cleared out the apartments. They're now starting to take Jules in from mid, and more T-side players are falling. They've got to try and get this bomb down, but they've got to deal with the jungle control too from Dexter still.
Taps on Jerry, finding the secondary follow-up here for the forZe side, and SDY still holds himself together. Zorti with 2 more picks back, leaving it all to 2, now to 1. Zorti falling, leaving Jerry out towards CT, dealt with by Magix, and the pistol does go the way of Spirit. Good kickoff with the opening frags, and while the trades were decent, they weren't good enough.
That was a great effort from Zorti. You see in a position for forZe that they're down in a 3-on-5 and all the info's been given up that it's a split through con, so they've got to do something with it. They can't just try and get the bomb down. They've got to take the fights. They know that Dex is still playing out from window. A couple of kills come in from Zorti, but they need more trades and it just doesn't happen. Spirit are all over that A side and all over that round. forZe, no bomb plant in the last, so they're not going to force it here.
Just straight pistols, easy as. Seeing where they can go with damage being done, but as you mentioned, their main focus might end up being that bomb plant above all else. Flashes over, SMG making his way far forward enough. Dexter in to farm up the money, gets himself 2 frags with Mir, able to support it. SDY also gets involved. Leaving it all on Flint in a 1 versus 5, and you can't be too shocked that this round get picked apart again. They had very little to work with here.
Just trying to see if they can do a little bit of damage, get a kill or 2, and well, Flint does manage to get 1. I think Flit as well, certainly in the last couple of months, has really been stepping up. 4th rated in the world when it comes to the highest ADR, about 88. Always been putting up some really good stats and always being a key fragger for the forZe side consistently over the games that they've been played. But for Spirit, you look at this round in particular, yes, it was pretty easy. They only lose a player, but how many SMG kills came out? That's just bolstering up the money and allowing Dexter to go in for an AWP going into the first rifle round.
Guns out, of course, for forZe. This was their main concern in this one, and damage is being done early onto the T-side line. Just minimal amounts, however. Nothing major onto the forZe camp, and definitely no kills going either way.
The AWP is just trying to see if they can get a little bit of a window, but Jerry's been able to sneak out from Palace. Chopper might not know about this.
Being careful about it. Swing on, tap head. Oh, and a second kill, not quite the third. Jerry and Almuza combined together, and they do swing out to get the site itself. So Plant should go down. I don't think Spirit have anything left in this round. Great flank, and if only that CT player held aggressively, he might have been able to detect it. He might have been able to deny.
He is one sneaky, sneaky man. All it would have taken was a jump spot or a wide swing from CT, and that info play would have been given up. Instead, Jerry's able to slow walk out from Palace, get down towards Underbow, look over towards Connector, get 2 very, very quick kills, and how quickly the trade comes out from Almeza. He starts swinging out wide, deals with Chopper at CT, and for Spirit, they don't even have a moment for Dexter to start getting a little bit comfortable. They can't go in for the retake. They're down by numbers. forZe, what an excellent lurk that was.
Yeah, 2-1 on that scoreboard. forZe might have taken the hits in the first couple of rounds, but when those AKs come out, they look absolutely glorious with Spirit. Their own money line might be in a bit of a state. Of course, single round loss bonus with a couple of players that did heavy invest. Probably going to have to see the force buy around these two M4s, but it will be limited. See, Dexter in particular just has that $1,400 and nothing else. And weapon can get dropped to him, so they can bolster him back. And you want to get a guy like him going because we've seen what kind of numbers he can post when he's in these, when he's you know, having his day. So very important to get him bolstered for me.
Yeah, they did well, Sparta, to be able to kind of collect, right? We saw Dexter's on loan from them. We saw that they picked up Sofix as well, an assistant coach. Even, like, Patsy got transferred over towards the Spirit side, now leading the Spirit Academy. But Dexter's always that guy that people keep an eye out for. And maybe Mira's going to be that guy as well. An aggressive play up towards that short position, getting the opening man advantage. No trade back at all. No one was even in position to take another fight up towards Mira.
And very little damage done on the grand scale of things as well. 67 HP, which is pretty decent for a one-on-one duel. Still going to play contact on the short control in a 2-1-2 split. Spirit, for the most part, have the decent angles on lock, and forZe don't really know how to action to it. They'll rotate over into the ramp position. Get ready for the A-side exit. Only chopper to defend.
Position 2 for forZe, where they've still got so much time, and for Spirit, it just comes down to if they make the right decision. Re-smoke coming down towards that ramp position. Almeza just wants to try and get ahead of it. At least a little bit of info coming back, and now they can start the rotate over towards A.
Ashes inbound, Someday Young ducked down over the default plant position. Molotov's against his name, all the way back at the back lines. He's burning, and eventually will get overwhelmed by Almez's AK. 4-on-4. Even man standing as Chopper just jumped for information, seeing the wallbangs coming his way. He's got to escape dodge because they are bearing down upon him. Needs backup, seeing where Kenzie is. Kenzie distracted as Mir takes the swing. Dexter also gets his kill in, looks for his second, couldn't quite land it over a dark as the AWP desperate to fight back, unable to do so. Kills coming in thick and fast for Spirit, and the defensive locks out the third.
You know how I said that CIS derbies could always be quite wild? That round was wild. I don't know what forZe are thinking there. First of all, the bomb is looking to try an entry out towards CT. Like, I don't mind taking CT control, but why is Kenzie with the bomb being the guy to try and open it up, try and just get that planted, or at least get more support coming through? Instead, as soon as Kenzie falls, the bomb is pretty much in control of the CTs, and from there, they just keep retaking, they keep pushing forward, they want to take those fights immediately, and for Spirit, they bounce back straight away.
And smokes onto deny utility very early into this forZe default. Now onto the mid control for this T-side line. Spirits have set themselves up wonderfully here. 2 AKs. Get a buy. Still a little bit weird with the money line. If ideally they want to win this next round to try and bolster their own money state and have some fallback cash. But for now, the default's pretty passive from the T-side.
For forZe, they just need to really win this round. Otherwise, in terms of economy, in terms of early momentum, they're going to be on the back foot heavily on their map pick. Spirit in a really good position with the AKs they were able to recover from that last round. Jump spot up from Magix, see some info out towards the apartment, put a nade back to try and hold them at bay. Big and chunky.
Now the gate for Almeza. Rounds the corner, could see 2, and that's exactly what he does. But Mir gets 2 frags to return. Looking for the third player out of the apartments. The spray is good for a 3K. Solo hold of the B site in a 3-on-2 situation. Utility evaded by SDY. Player coming in from short control now being seen, and Kenzie can find a response. So it's 2-on-2 now. The bomb can go down.
It comes down to the 2 youngsters here now from forZe to try and see if they get this 2v2 together. Now, Spirit have already been able to bring their way out towards the market entrance, and Kenzie's just trying to back up his teammate with the crossfire.
Expecting Apps to flank in. Both players are watching it. Short's being cleared. Kenzie caught looking the wrong way. Tight angle for Chopper. Doesn't get the frag. 7 HP. Kenzie solo. It's going to rest on Zorti to hold the defensive, and that's a good headshot in with a spray. And now Dexter, 1 versus 2 on the clock. Swing back, and Zorti still wins the fight to get his own 3K involved, deny Mir's efforts, and get us back to 2 on the forZe board.
One of the most impressive things about Zorti, the main AWPer from forZe, is he's a very special AWPer in the sense that whenever he's got an AK in his hand, or he actually doesn't have an AWP, he can be incredibly impactful, and you see it in that round there, how important that entry kill is in terms of the trade, playing out that 2 versus 2, the crosshair placement on lock, and when it comes to the battle of the economy, Spirit have lost out now. We've been back and forth for about 4 rounds in a row now.
Yeah, Spirit having money troubles from the word go, and that's coming back to bite them right here. Could it be, and most likely will be, a 3-0 scoreline unless forZe absolutely bottle this round, and they won't be able to do so. Bomb plant secured. Next player seen. Jerry with awkward taps. Everyone with a numbers game? No, him and Almas are able to lock it up pretty nicely. Great tapping from him. And 3-all again to that board. forZe equalizing against Spirit, but one eco leads to a buy. N falls out for the CT side.
Yeah, Mir has been sort of lights out so far from Spirit when it comes to opening man advantages, and maybe they need him to be able to step up going into the next previous rifle round. We saw last time he went aggressive up towards that short position, got that 5-on-4, and then just immediately straight back. And even for Spirit, they've got no money to get an AWP out. They even got an MP9 and a FAMAS to join the M4s.
Yeah, not ideal for the Spirit squad. But again, still rifles versus rifles of forZe, and they themselves haven't got a fully defined buy either. Khalil for Zorti still playing bonuses. Of course, taking that weapon to make sure that the entire money line's still bolstered going into round 8 if they lose it against Spirit. The smoke's down onto the Palace control, the utility at the ready to try and siphon off armors to force him even further away. Smoke's back, blocking him. AK also turned away from the T side. Now looking at underpass against the mid presence.
Yeah, Flit has got to deal with this crossfire, though. There's a player in connector looking to take a fight pretty much straight away. Timing is actually good for Flit as he takes that duel on towards Chopper, but the trade comes back straight away, and now they get further damage. What's happening to the Ds?
They're falling apart. 1-on-3 suddenly for Jerry. He forced the SMG out of angle, but now he knows who he is known. AK picked up out towards bottom, top mid. That bomb, known to the CT side, defended by 2 individuals. We have one player in particular with a short place. That position on the boost spot. Mir trying to look in for Jerry. Completely misses out that opportunity. But he's been caught off by the likes of Dexter anyway. Kill for him in this round. 2 AKs recovered. Spirit, a fantastic turn away on their next guns.
Jeez, this just doesn't stop. It's so back and forth between these teams. No one is really trying to give up like a momentum break. That 3-4 rounds in a row. And that was just so chaotic. Out from mid, we saw Flick got a good timing onto Chopper out from Con. There's a player out from window, a couple of players up from short. They're just all swinging together. And eventually for forZe, they just kind of break. AWP comes out for Zorti. Somehow got enough money for it.
He did have a little bit of fallback cash. And working with these AKs as a result. Jerry in particular trying to get very aggressive in the apartments. Is going to run straight forward and force CTs to rotate. They've still got 2 players on that B side, a 2-1-2 split as standard. Again, that man trying to aggress here is Magix. Doesn't win the fight, just shoulder shots on Jerry. Tagged a little under 70. He swings in for that second kill. Very ballsy from him. He's making a lot of noise over on that B site as the action comes in towards A. The 2 defenders get cleaned up, and now it's just got to be a safe call from Spirit.
That was incredibly individual there for the T side. They're taking a bit of a duel out for the apartments, and then you've just got like dry swings out from Ramp and Palace between a couple of Almeza and Flit, and they just open it up. SDY and Mir have got a save, and it does feel as if that for this T side from forZe, they could have some beautiful walkouts. Not really seeing a lot of set pieces from them. They're running out their defaults. They're slowing it down. And they're just working with the rotations. They're working with the timings. They're working with some of the individuals. And now we get tied up again. It's 4-4.
And you mentioned how these CIS derbies and these Russian rivalries can be very back and forth. And
Yeah.
right now, that is exactly what we've seen here between these 2 sides. Back and forth. CT and T side rounds. Neither squad able to generate, I think, many rounds in a row. I think we've had a maximum of 2 so far, back to back. And forZe will keep Spirit limited. Again, the money's still not there, and that's thanks to the efforts posted up by the T side. It is double eco in certain players' cases, so it might just have to be the force buy anyway. Drop weapons, M4s, SMG for Chopper. Scout in for Dexter. It's going to be real rough here.
And we've seen like so many of these quote-unquote force buys into sort of buy rounds where they are pretty much everything, but at the same time that there isn't that whole backing. We haven't really seen a lot of healthy buys completely. A bit of a couple of missed shots actually coming through from mid. Does allow a bit of a tag to come through, and SDY just getting flashed in from Con. Misses his chance though.
Overall, HP advantage works better to the Spirit side. AWP almost netted out of position. In the end, keeps his life. For now, that's more than fine for this T side. They might have some issues when it comes to the SMG at close. Almost has got to get this headshot in pretty quickly. His teammates right behind him are so low. Chopper could solo hold the ramp position. And then his flashbangs go over, does not catch him blind. Swing up, Almaza goes down. Spray on the second player on the pre-fire. Kenzie can find that trade. The scout shot's not connecting as Flit turns it back to a 4 versus 3. Falls doesn't have the A site.
Yeah, this got to be a safe call from Spirit. I don't know how they can go for this. SDY's even being tagged up by the spam. They want to try and see if they can get a bit of a way in from CT, but this is a risk. They're even getting a boost up.
I'm trying to look for exits. Above the smoke, Magic's going to look on. The jump face does not see anything of the T side. And again, probably a safe call from the Spirit cam. The AKs will be more valuable to them at this stage. No further rifles given up by the forZe camp. And it started off so promisingly as well, with Flit and Zorti in particular being tagged up so heavily in the early stages of the round, but not giving themselves up. Spirit not getting the chances to clean up those 2 frags, and therefore no man advantage for them.
And this is something to mold over for all the viewers at home. A lot of the events recently that Spirit have played in the last 3 months, they've actually been eliminated by CIS teams. Now, in IEM Katowice, they got knocked out in the semis by Gambit. Yeah, it's Gambit. In the Pinnacle Cup, we saw that they placed into the semis again, lost to Gambit, and then in DreamHack Masters Spring, they lost to VP and got eliminated in 9th to 12th place. So it always does seem, when it's like the really important games, when it's the playoffs or it's the lower bracket runs, whenever they're facing off against CIS teams recently, they've actually really struggled.
Or pin on Zorti. With the first couple of players up here, boosted up, so a decent idea from SDY. The round against Zorti's head, and repositions back towards Dark, so Deagle up of Chopper, watching and waiting. Are they ready for him to be so close? And yes, they are. Kill found, 4v4. Last player overwhelmed. Losing a crucial AK this one. Do Spirit even bother with this retake?
Yeah, I can look for a couple of exits. Jerry's going to be able to spot out the player from CT. That's an easy pick onto the USP player from Dexter. And now with a couple of rifles left, they might as well just hold on to it. You've got a little bit of util, you've got some Kevlar, a kit behind Mir. And forZe, this does feel like it's the first time in this game that we've actually seen a streak. This has got to be, what, 3 rounds in a row from them? You mentioned only a few before that, like, 2 was the maximum we had to see just yet. But can they follow it up is the big question. Now, we know for Spirit, it wasn't a full investment in that last run, just upgrades slightly around the upgraded weapons that got saved in, so we'll be able to see a buyback. Not really enough money to go in for an AWP, though, so for Dexter, he's been gasping for it, but he hasn't had it for ages now.
A slight hindrance to Spirit as a result of it. The CT side has not gone well. Taking a tactical timeout as a result here. They kind of need to, I want to say. Been a very dicey map so far for this team. forZe, even when they're at a disadvantage, they always find a way to equalize against the Spirit squad. Need to find some sort of change here, and discussions definitely going on at that boot camp. But what really is being talked about? What do they have to change, Dwayne?
That's a good question, and I think they've just got to try and get some more opening fights. It's probably where they're losing out. It seems like for them, they're very stagnated towards the A site. They're getting caught flat-footed a lot of the time. Like forZe are they're swinging. They're just running out wide, out from ramp. They're running from Palace, and for Spirit, they're either in the wrong position or they're not getting the trades back. They've got to be able to provide a stronger defense out on the A side and just give some advantages early into the round, because that's where forZe are winning out. Early util out towards mid. This is actually quite quick between Flit.
Mid with the incendiary ready towards short control. Does not see anything. forZe are just down low in the mid position. Going to boost one player up into Sniper's Nest. No one's there to contest it. Someone's going to get back there. Now that's Dexter, instantly dealt with by Flit. Now backstabs can be found. He makes his way in through Motorhold, challenges onto the CT stairs player, Sum Young, for 4 versus 4. One player also at Dark, that's Chopper, training back the man advantage to maintain control for Spirit. And forZe are forced to scramble, rotating out that completely.
Yeah, it seemed like they were in 2 minds of hesitation. They wanted too much out of that round. Yeah, they get Flit towards window. He gets the opening frag, tries to get him from market. Looks like it's going to be a B split. Almeza then says, hang on a minute, I've got an entry line in towards A, and they're thinking about bringing the bomb back from underpass. But then Almeza gets caught out from lower Dark, and for Spirit, they capitalize on those mistakes, and Magic is still aggressive in the apartments.
Got Jerry to contend with. M4 moving in. AK spray gets the kill. Back to evens we go, but can they maintain it for forZe again? Can they maintain that 7th round? One player on site is SDY. He's such low HP. So really, this player at car needs to stay alive. Mir's got to get out of dodge because nades are onto his position. And now the real action comes in from the forZe side. A is completely open. Only a player at CT to defend against it. So this plant can come down pretty safely with the smoke on shore. The M4, is he going to get swung upon? Yes, Kenzie will look for it. And that allows the kill to come in. AWP now has to plant.
Oh, he needs help from Jerry, but he's still out for the apartments. He's going to have a massive backstab. zordy's got a hold with the AWP, and he's got to find these shots off. It doesn't happen. The CTs can just stick the bomb, or can they? They've got to get down, and Jerry's here now from short. They've heard the footsteps. They know exactly where he is. They can get onto the bomb.
Flash forward, flash over. Got to swing on the planter. Got to swing on the diffuser right now. See the bomb's vision. Sprays just forced him off. Still ticking away, reload found, noise being made, Chopper swinging forward, back on the defuse. I believe that's the kit for near. 2 seconds left, Chopper's still gonna get that kill. But the pressure held there by Jerry nearly cost the round for Spirit. A 4K for Chopper, in the end becomes the hero. And a 5th round with the Spirit board.
Yeah, Jerry almost won that. I thought that for Spirit, they were just going to be able to stick the bomb, get a body block in, and then just distracting player from Con. But instead, there's a distracting player, but there's no body block, and he's able to just kind of scramble it a little bit, get some time being wasted. But you look in that position, and zordy's got to stay alive. If he gets that bomb down towards short, stays alive with that orb, and allows the backstab in from Jerry, that round could have been different, but zordy fell so early.
forZe still maintain their lead by the default of the buffer. Spirit have kept their pace. Jerry tapping forward, Molotov in and out to the CT stairs. Nades on position as well. Damage is being done. Smokes back up. And felled away from here for the forZe side. Minute to go. Still no casualties found.
Yeah, there is an aggressive player in from ladder of Mir that could end up getting a fair bit of information if he just starts having a little bit of a walk. Hearing a lot of this utility coming through from window. Is anyone expecting a ladder player here for the T side? Flashing towards window, and Mir still wins the fight.
Well, Amazon was expecting it, he just wasn't expecting the right angle. The Molotovs, the nades, he's so close to death, but he stays alive in the only place where fire isn't burning. Despite that, he's still forced to take some damage. 37 HP. Now the walkout in from Palace and Ramp. Footsteps being heard. Chopper waiting for his opportunity. Sundai Young has got the Palace control. The flashbangs going over. Will start to allow that rifle to peek. Doesn't actually opt to go for it here. Still maintaining his presence. And now being seen by Kenzie. Frag found. SDY needs back up soon. 20 seconds. Needs to win this fight. And indeed he does against the likes of Jerry. So 3v3 with a post plant.
Yeah, not really a lot of util for the T's to work with. Oh, Flit, could he backstab in? Could he get all the way in towards CT? Spirit lining themselves up for the retake. They've got a player in con and 2 out from CT.
Ups to go to the mid control where there is a player coming in. Orb v Orb battle, and it's one out by both those respective players, but they're still in play. Nades on to Sandwich. zordy is tagged. Magix sees his man, gets the headshot inbound, and has an idea, an inkling, and where Flit is. Spray back is very awkward from the T-side player, and the defuse can be caught out as the round is won. The fight is won, and we go 6-all.
Just when Dexter gets an AWP in his hands, you can see the immediate impact. Great shot to come out from CT. Beautiful retake in tow from Magix. Just reading the game, looking out towards that sandwich position, putting the molly back over to Flit from that early information, and just trying to commit to it. Flit struggling to be able to get that trade back. And 6-6, forZe, you thought they had a break for a little bit. You thought, okay, this is them coming into their own on the T side. They get 3 rounds in a row, and it's answered back so quickly. Another tied up scoreline.
Double orbs maintained here by the Spirit camp. Nades on again to do damage to forZe very early into the mid control. Saucy with his orb set towards Apps. Does not get much in terms of contact or kills. No damage done, no shots landing. Incendiaries and Nades just forcing him out of position as he vacates his angle, and I actually think about counter-rotating entirely out of Apps again.
Yeah, Spirit haven't pushed apartments for a while now. Saw in a couple of the early rounds, but not in the late rifles, so even in this over-rotation, there isn't a lot of info being gained here by the Spirit side. Another set piece might be on the cards. Maybe a double pump, actually, because they've already used some util.
forZe setting up the regular smokes and flashes. 2 out towards connector jungle and stairs, none towards CT, which might give Chopper a bit of breathing room. Smoke at the cross does fade, and he's just left back here, waiting for contact, waiting for someone to overextend. And actually, they might just go for the retake from this position here, Spirit.
And no one's peeking. That's what the T-side wanted, was just a peek out from CT. Flit's been able to find an angle, and for Spirit, they're not even in positions to retake. They've got to move their bums over and get here in position, and now more utility starts to come through from the T-side.
And further down on the connector smoke, Dexter incendiaring out the palace. They've completely vacated the site entirely. Just the entryways are being covered off. 2 players on a backstab as well. Could be the linchpin element if the main T-side force can hold themselves together. Seeing jump face of 1, flashbang turned away from, and Dexter watches intently for the kill. Doesn't see it coming, and they opt to fall away for it. Didn't get enough ground, didn't get it in time, and the hunt comes through to try and deal with the players off the back of the exit frags. Dexter gets 1 kill on Kenty, but almost finds his trade, and forZe maintain the lead.
It's been very lurky in a lot of these rounds for the T-side. You could just see maybe that isn't so much of a lurk set up in that set piece, but once they get the bomb down and they've got that 5-on-4 after Flick creates the angle from Palace towards CT, you can just see the wrap play. Kenzie and Almeza go back in from A ramp, they get in from mid, and they're looking to just try and be able to provide a little bit of assistance to the site defenders, and then if that save call comes through, look to try and get exit kills. They trade out the AWPer, double orbs are still coming through from Team Spirit going into round 14, but for forZe, they've got the lead again.
Damage done again to the T-side line, and Zorti gets his pick in. M4 back of Chopper, desperate to get 2 trades, but only finds the one. Zorti continues fragging with the AWP and SDY, having no idea that Jerry's so close, making noise and smoking back to counteract the rotations. To get himself out of dodge instead of actually going for anything. 4-on-3, forZe maintain themselves, and Jerry with his backstab. Actually, this could be the round-winning play. If SDY has no idea of it, then the kill comes in easy as the bomb goes down, and it's just continuously locked out of sight.
Yeah, this is done. This round is over. Like, this is an easy kill towards CT, and Mir and Magics just have no option but to go for the save. They can't win a 2 versus 4 like that. Another great backstab, lurk play in the post plants. forZe keep getting away with these, like, aggressive moves.
And Spirit just giving big gaps for them to walk straight through because of it. Good kill from Magics, at least deals another player to at least limit the funds of the forZe camp, but right now funds are the least of their concern. 8-6, approaching the end of the half, and on the buy should still be absolutely fine going into round 15. Spirit definitely not starting this series off on the right foot. And well, for their opponent's map pick, that definitely makes a lot of sense. Mirage is a really good map for forZe. Maybe a little bit too good compared to Spirit.
We saw them play yesterday against K23 in that playoff round 1 game and have a really good T-side. Not as strong as it has been today. Magic's with his headshots as well, always trying to see if they get the tally up, but they need to get some rounds, and a bit of an aggressive push up to top mid.
Burst up, damage done to Magic, so heavy in the mid control being known. Dexter at least can find the response to his initial casualty. All battle down here at the underpass control. Mir still finds the trade from beyond the grave, but still Jerry so far pushed up in the apartments. Someday Young thinks he's safe and he thinks wrong about it. 3-on-2, or being seen, tagged up. Flit's just gonna distract the rotation, stop them from making their way all the way into the market position. Oh, Chopper does get an exit to a 2-on-2, however. This could still be workable if they get Flit especially. Headshot seen for the second frag, and now Jerry's left alone.
Who would have seen this coming? Some really important kills start getting traded back, and at least for Jerry, there is an open A site. We've seen a little bit of a late movement play coming through from Chopper, moving away from CT, but for Jerry, he doesn't have that information, so it depends on how quickly he gets this bomb down.
Tapping once, looking right and left, and they think it's going to be a B play. They'll realize very soon that's not the case at all. And again, they'll have to go for the retake on it. Well, the dangerous thing that Jerry's actually just pushing in towards the apartments area. Looking on short now, they're going to see him cross. Or no, they won't. They look away at the wrong moment. Now the planet's got to come down for Jerry.
There's so much time here for Team Spirit to work with, and I think he even got seen out towards CT. He's got to take a fight out towards Connector, tap away, and now it's down to the 1v1.
On for the 3k, 22 HP against the AWP, and the Deagle is all that they need, so... There goes Dexter in with the 7th for Team Spirit, at least to recover this, given how intense that T-side was from forZe. 8-7 still wins the half. The Spirit have at least kept pace.
That wasn't easy for either side. I think for Spirit, they'll probably be a little bit disappointed knowing that they weren't actually able to get a lead going into the second half after they got off to an okay start. They won pistol, they got off 3-1, but it's been like so back and forth. We haven't ever really seen either team get comfortable at points. I see the guys from forZe are up on screen. I'm sure for them, like they're sweating it. They know how much of a challenge this is. I mean, this is Spirit you're up against, even if it is your map pick.
Also got to think about the last Mirage result between these two sides lingering in the back of their minds. Was very confident from them here on this T side, but you look back at the previous matchup and it was another 8-7 half of them on their T side start before Spirit took over the T side and ran away with the 16-13. So forZe need to improve upon their early aggression. The pistol round especially here with the Glocks in the utility set for Chopper. P250 dropped off to Dexter. Spirit ready to go for the exit. They'll put the smoke down on Connector and they're trying to bait in players away from mid and onto the A side.
It's a very heavy A lean to come through from forZe, and they've just got Zordi to try and get some contact out from mid. Our Mace has fallen. That's the B side completely open, and mid gets 2 picks on the entry.
5-on-3, and they're still leaning in towards the A player. They have no idea that B's completely opened up. Rotation's being called in. They'll be called back out of the stairs area as Magix gets Jerry. Kenzie desperate to frag back alongside Flit here. They'll bait them in to get aggressive. Almost caught in the jump face there. Swing back at the USP is not good enough against Dexter, as it will be pistol round for the Spirit board, and forZe conceding a crucial 8th back to their opposition.
Damn, Mir is just so good. Like, you look at the way that he's able to situational isolate those frags. Like, a couple of taps come through to the short position, pre-aims instantly towards window. Very surprised that Spirit actually went towards A after they got a pick towards short and from mid. You're kind of looking at that thinking, all right, you've got a decent amount of advantage over towards a B side. There's a chance you just run up from short, and instead they run through their own con smoke, and it's just annihilation of their opposition.
Especially on that short face, those 2 kills to start off the round. That looked beautiful. The Spirit board. forZe up. And they'll be out on this defensive here towards the A side. 2 for 1, 3 for 1 on the trade. Rifles cleaning up these pistols. Very easy. Nolmazer and Flit pretty much with no chance left here in round 17.
Yeah, Force Back has not been successful. Yeah, they've done a lot of tag damage. I mean, you just look at the HP numbers, 51 for STY, under 50 for Chopper, under 30 for Dexter, but they're not being converted into kills. So because of that, you're in a position where you've just got to save in this 2v4, hold on to the weapons that you've got, bring the next round as a little bit of an eco half by Mir. Even here's the footsteps towards underpass, so he can go hunting if he likes.
Slowly pressing down into the underpass control. To get rid of these Deagles on this Kevlar will just be a good takeaway going into the eco for forZe. So for Spirit, it just means that there'll be less resistance in terms of what they could be having. Let's leave those USPs as the only weapons really to contest them. But the bottom line is going to be that 9-8. Spirit taking the lead back from forZe. Very long time since they've had a lead above this team. But now that that gap has been closed, their chance to start to put a gap in of their own right. Again, only pistols out, only USPs. And have bought 1 Deagle on Kenzie, but that might be the extent of the entire buy.
And it is kind of odd. I know that obviously there's been a lot of head-to-heads between both of these guys over like the last, year and a half or so, but haven't really seen a lot of games being played from them lately. We saw that 1 game in DreamHack Open January towards the start of the year, and that's been it. I guess maybe because Spirit are playing more of those like tier 1 events and forZe aren't, that we're not seeing those derbies, but normally we would see these guys play each other a lot more last year. Maybe trying to see if they get a little bit of revenge from forZe.
1-for-1 trade. The Deagles are doing pretty decent damage. Now all 3 players held up towards connector. Almas are catching the mid player as well. 3-on-2. Bomb plant. Now secure with the smokes down to cover themselves off, but I think SDY and Chopper realize that they shouldn't be in this position. Spray up, gets killed. Kenzie and Flip falling next. Almas are picking up the AK. 1-on-2 scenario. Can't make it happen. SDY just recovers the round, but 3 casualties for an eco. I think forZe can be happy with that.
Yeah, they'll be very happy because they'll know that going into the first sort of rifle round of the second half, they won't be able to do immediate damage in terms of the reserve, but look at where Mir and Dexter sit. Both of those guys are about under 1,000, really. You got 1,050 for Mir and only 100 for Dexter, so those 2 will be on double eco status, at least for Spirit. They've got a little bit more money in the reserve from some of the other players to drop some weapons over, but things could look awkward very quickly, and a fast run out from Mir. Flint has got to get a flash over the top. How many players can he find? None of them.
So much damage done as well, and that's just been so tragic for both the CT sides, just knowing how several members have been so hard up in that mid control, and still you've been unable to get those kills. Mir on 9 points of health. 1 more bullet would have done the trick there for Flit. But alas, he's dead. 5-on-4. Spirit happy to continue the passive control. Just play out their defaults for the next maybe 20 seconds or so.
They've got to make a risk here, forZe. Like, they're down by a man in the opening rifle round. They've got 1 kit in play and hardly any utility left. So they've got to make a decision. Do we start stacking up? And they are making the over-rotation towards the B side. They've got a player out for mid, 2 anchors on B. The only A defender is out towards CT. And for Spirit, it looks like it's going to be a set piece out from ramp and a late lurk to come through from Dexter and connector.
3 players pressing on, AWP in on Zord. T didn't see the walkout. Didn't even see the low HP player on that walkout. Couldn't get the shot off. Will continue his focus on Palace control, and that slow walk in will allow the AWP of Mir to deal the next kill. 5-on-3. He's got both of his kills so far in this one. Bomb can make his way to site. Chopper's just watching out in case there's a CT swing. AUG grabbing the AWP instead, getting out of dodge. Jerry could still get caught for the motor hole though. Incendiary force magic's away. Will that just force him forward? It still lets the kill go the way of the CT forces, but they're backing off for the safe call, and eventually that AWP still drops anyway.
Yeah, T-side, no. Let's hunt. Let's see what more we can find. Almeza, he's looking to try and see if he can recover the AWP, but he's getting so aggressive that even if he drops the weapon, puts any utility down, SDY will realize how close he is, how much of an angle can he find. He's trying to see if he can get something. He sees both players. That's the info at least.
Now allows the backstabbing player, Dexter, to act upon it from the apartments. Got to move quick. No one is watching it. Trying to feint in the AWP shot. Indeed, they do move up close. Swing back towards bench. Good shot from Almazo. Okay. Couple of casualties there for the T side. But Spirit get away with the round. And again, that's the most important thing for them.
I think this does draw back to what you mentioned a few rounds ago, Jay, with sort of that scoreline differential to the last time we saw Mirage. Because Spirit, they're just looking deadly on T-side, and for forZe, if they don't get their act together quickly, they're just going to be on the back foot massively. They're down by 3, they're able to get the rifles back into round 20, but there are some limitations. They just need a round victory. They've got to get on top of these guys.
This is the best round to do it in. Full guns across the board. SMG for Jerry might be a limiting factor. Best buyout that they could have had here. Save the 2 weapons in the previous round, so they have that much. forZe can only do what they can. Spirit, regular rifles inbound. There's a little bit of reset potential on Dexter and Magix, but for the most part, the buy can be enabled going into round 21. If they get that 12-8, that's when you start looking at this map being done here. forZe really need to get this.
Space out from mid. It's not even being contested here. Spirit have been able to get that window smoke up. Top con 2. Finally an incendiary back. Just trying to halt the T-side players at bay for a little bit. Bit of an info play coming out from ramp in terms of a shoulder bait and a wide swing. Doesn't see anything. 3 players up towards A. Zorti's got to be able to connect with this AWP.
1-for-1 trade, 2-for-1 as the spray through the wall comes through. Kenzie still holds himself, and Flick gives away his angle. Eventually goes down to the hands of Chopper. So 3 versus 2 situation. Bomb plant will be secured. Almost still swings, gets that 1 frag. Does not deny the bomb plant though. So it's all left to Kenzie to try and go for the retake here. He's got 1 kill in this round. Needs to get 2 more. Looking back at ramp, checking out Dark, seeing nothing also at Sandwich. They're both out of the CT stairs. Swing on Magics, wins that fight. No info on SDY, and SDY can get the trade, keep the round together for Spirit again. That's all they need to do, keep the rounds together. forZe might have a little bit of cash on the loss bonus, but losing all those guns and rebuy back from the T side, they are running out of breathing room.
Now, this might be me saying it early, Jay, but that round right there, that's a map winning clutch. That one, because I think for forZe, they win that 1v1, they start getting hyped up, they start bouncing back. We're now in a position where even on max round loss bonus, they still don't have enough money in the reserve to be able to buy back. They're going to be on an eco going to round 21, and Dexter's already found the opening fight, sees another player out from window, and forZe are just trying to look and see if they could do some damage.
The best they can hope for in this kind of context on this buy. Take the frags and run away with that. Maybe save a weapon if you can, especially if it's an AK-47 or an AWP. But Spirit finding that opening kill, just leaning into the mid control, and zero resistance posted up by forZe as a result. They might hear these footsteps inbound, but B's completely open, so with the short take coming in, just walk up, plant bomb, win round.
Imagine like the first time Spirit actually lean over towards the B site, it's a round in which there's just not even one defender. We've just seen mid like default after A piece after A piece, round after round after round. Chopper goes, oh, I've got a good feeling about B, let's just bring it over, and then they realize, oh, no one's actually here.
Feels bad for forZe because they were so ready for another A piece. They were so ready for another mid control play, and that's just, again, as you mentioned, the one round where it didn't happen. So it's the ultimate bait. And getting 2 frags in for Magics in mid. Eagle back off. Flip manages to find 2 kills. Doesn't get that third, so they maintain control and leave it all on Zorti back on the A site, still maintaining his position there. Might be able to grab that kit in from the murder hole, but that is honestly, speaking of bait, the ultimate bait for him to take to give himself up to Magics. Footsteps being heard of the T-side member, so he's not going to press forward. He's going to leave this round. Go 13 for Spirit. Still nothing scored so far, but a CT force of forZe. He does get an exit frag and an AK, so there's a little bonus something here for the CT side.
Thank goodness there's a timeout to come through from forZe, because they really need it. That was a decent eco. They get away with some exit kills. They get an AK too. Like Flick gets a nice couple. Nice little adjustments come through from Zorti out towards jungle, but yeah, they've just got to get rounds up now. They are really starting to let this slip. And Kenzie up on screen. I wonder what he's going to be able to do. And Jerry as well, in terms of individual firepower, he's been leading the charge for forZe, which we do know from time to time he can have the big games, but not normally the one to be the leading fragger.
No, especially with Dexter being involved. Like, he was an absolute monster when he first came into this roster. But, yeah, the CT side, knowing that things are pretty dicey and things aren't looking great for them. Spirit maintaining their position here and continuing to extend their lead. 13-8, probably going to go to 14 unless forZe do something absolutely magical. Smokes up, Dexter with the AWP, wrapping on towards short control, doesn't quite get any sort of peek in. forZe being a little bit more reserved in this round.
Oh, they're waiting for the over-aggression. Oh, that was Dexter's chance for the AWP. Still might be able to get another shot in. No. Aggression now being taken up for the CTs. They can go double AWPs, but at the same time, Spirit's now starting to make a lean over towards the apartments.
And 2 kills found. forZe now looking pretty decent. Magic's being seen by Almas, and next Kenzie follows suit on SDY, and Chopper last man standing in a 1 versus 5. He'll only get that 1 pick. Turn away from Almas' part. 4 players alive for forZe in that one, and finally their first CT round. Took them a very long time to get to this point, Dweg.
It was one of those like silent, aggressive plays, because everything's not really happening out from mid. We're not seeing a jiggle peek, we're not seeing some early util, and then all of a sudden, as soon as Dexter starts getting up towards chair, he just gets hit by everything. There's smokes, there's flashes, nades going in all over the place, and he just gets caught off completely blind, misses out that AWP shot. The pressure just keeps coming up as they continue aggressing. SDY trying to see if he could just have a bit of a solo play, fake that there's going to be a quick sight take out towards the B site, and at least he's taken a lot of damage for it. The HE and the incendiary down to just 14.
Gosh, passed that rifle off to Mir as a result of that. Swap up with the P250. SDY trying to bait in the CT player to get information, at least that might be his best thing. Minute and 10, Spirit being careful as a result of their failings there in the apartments control. Great counter plays here on the C side or CT side line. Magix and Mir still pressing to try and recover something. They're all stacking up towards the A play, or through the B play. Looks like it's coming in right now. Smoke down from kenzie, trying to evade position. Almaza gets 2 kills for the AK in the back of the side. The AUG swings up, catches 2 more off guard, and just like that, the round falls apart again. Chopper in a 1 versus 5. 1 pick found, no more than that. And forZe are starting to get rolling here.
They're starting to show some class, really, in the second half, and it's come through at a decent time. It's not too late, but it's a moment in which they can really start holding some contention. Good crossfire set out towards this B side. I love the way that they're actually taking the intent of getting aggressive up towards Van, getting kenzie looking to take damage, looking for fights, rather than just playing it very defensively and very passive on the side and letting it get overtaken. Double digits now up for the forZe side, and 3 is only the gap.
Flash in, spray through, 2 kills found by the T side, one which is a TK, so overall 4 versus 3 with the AWP pick in the AK spray on SDY, taking some damage to return. That nade up is also evaded here by the T side forces, so. 1 player up towards top mid, kenzie should be able to clean up the last couple of players on the eco, and that should be enough for forZe to maintain 11. Spirits. Let a few rounds slip. Is this the start of the comeback? Is this the way back in for forZe? They got to 13 rounds previously against Spirit on Mirage. 2 more rounds to equalize it, but the AKs are back in for the Ts.
The question on my mind right now, Jay, is where's the tap pause here from Spirit? Yeah, they've got off to a banging start in the second half. 6-0 up, it was very convincing, a lot of money behind them. But now it does feel like forZe are starting to come into their own, and they've got to be able to bounce back quickly. A little bit of utility up towards this mid position, not looking to be fought at all to come out from the forZe side. Instead, 3 players all around the A side to start off, and for Spirit, it does seem like they want to try and get some connector control and move in towards an A take.
kenzie finds the angle on Magix, on from short, looking to connect to no one covering that piece, and the map off. Look at Mir straight in towards jungle, looking to focus on the CT forces. No one, the scaffolding was not popped open, so therefore no one could be coming into this position, and it's unlikely that there might be a CT out here unless they made their way in via jungle. No information indicates that, though, and he's got basically free reign of this position of the map here. Meanwhile, 3 CTs on the A players. The Spirit solid to commit to this, can split in from both sides.
Resmoke out towards ramp is timed well, and for Spirit, this just slows down their game plan, but we have seen a little bit of a rotate come back over. Almaza now moving over towards the B side. Very, very passive here for the CTs. 2 playing out from CT and 1 from Firebox.
Flashes in, stalling against the Spirit camp. Flashes to return to the T side line. Good one to force the AWP off angle. The AK sees his shoulder, looks back at Firebox. No one can cover that off. There is a Molotov for Mir. You can put it onto that position. And back at Dark is where it will go, and onto the default plant position itself. Perfect flank angle as the AWP gets flashed off. Dexter overwhelmed by Flip. 4 versus 3. Trade back to evens again. Short control contested by another TT member as Jerry swings back to support him. Get Mir. Line up. 2 more frags. And get the round to decimate here. The Spirit side are losing control of this. forZe back within 1.
What a defensive hold from forZe, and it seems like they've got the right call on the situation, and then Jerry just makes this big monster play, line up for the double to get 3 kills overall. He's really starting to put the numbers up, and for Spirit, things are starting to look quite awkward for them now. We're in a position where in the playoffs so far, we've seen how the invited teams haven't had it easy. Ent's already eliminated a little bit earlier this morning against the EPG family side. Fnatic and Extremum going 30 rounds in map 3. And now here for Spirit, if they were the ones to actually convert Mirage and take it a map up in the series, that's what they would have liked. You can see those guys all boot camping together, 5 of them. Having a little bit of a moment to have a chat with Chopper just to realize, how do we get back into this? Because you couldn't have faulted their start in the second half.
And what was it, like 8-7 down and up to 13-8, so 6 rounds in a row with forZe unable to score anything, and then now that they're going, they're getting their own rounds in a row. 4 so far for them, back-to-back, and Spirit down to the pistols. Tech-9's Deagles. Glock in with Deggs, might be the limiting factor of this round, but even then it's limited across the entire board with pistols v rifles. Deagle shot on mid, 2 taps, both missed out in the player center of the site, sees Flit instead, gets a bit more success against him. Magic's drop stack in, Flit gets his kill, Kenzie with his follow-up, doubling up here to drop the bomb and make it a triple. It's all pistols fault and chop up. 1 on 5 for him for what I think is the 3rd time in the last 5 or so rounds.
He's always been the last one alive. Actually does manage to capitalize on the missed shot from Zorti, so there is one player falling, and at some point, the CTs are going to have to go back in towards window and pick up that AWP. And nothing worse than having to reinvest it going to the next rifle. So there is some damage, but overall, this eco hasn't been too successful. Bomb's been dropped out towards the B side, so for Chopper, yeah, there's not much he could do.
See, maybe you can get a couple more exit frags again. Especially on Flit and Kenzie. Drop the AK, drop the AWP. AWP in particular. Nah, seeing the USP shot, takes the head. The Chopper's back turned. And forZe are even against Spirit again. Spirit, I really genuinely believe that they were going to have an easy time about this T-side half when those rounds came in back to back, but forZe, 1 tactical pause, has refound their formation. And the question now is, when do Spirit take another team down? Rivals are back in since that point, so let's see whether there's an adjustment here in this next one.
Yeah, there's got to be, really, because otherwise forZe are really starting to come alive. You've got, what, 3 AKs up on this CT side, backed up by that safety and AWP from the last round of Zorti. A Spirit. I think when you look at their success, it's got to be an A-lane. Like, over towards the B side, they haven't quite found as much success. Out towards this mid-default, forZe again just allowing this map control to go through. Kenzie, where does he place this nade? Doesn't seem like it's going to be going towards the underpass position, so no real early damage being done to the T's.
Flashes up mid, AK'd around the corner, Flit with the M4 suppressed by that smoke. Utility inbound, incendiary on for Kenzie, trying to force Magic's out of the way, and he will be burning alive. But Kenzie's the first casualty. Jerry to follow suit with the AK instead out of the short control. Almost the back at bench, desperate to get a kill on one of these players on short. Seeing the player also over at the apartment's entrance. Gonna get wrapped in upon from 2 different angles. Gun barrel seen as Flit sets up the backstab. As long as they can get Almaza though, they can get the bomb down and still he frags. Allows the AWP a chance to hold it down on a 1v3 clutch for Mir now.
If anyone you want in a clutch, it's probably going to be Mir, but this is a difficult situation. Molly out, even gets backstabbed in from the apartment. What a hold from forZe. What a hold to come through from Almaza. You think about the position in which he's in. He's just trying to stay alive at Bank. He doesn't really need to find any more kills at that point. As long as he's wasting time, it's allowing rotations to come through, but he still kicks it around from Bank, gets another kill, holds down the line. And for Spirit, without that bomb plant, they've got no money. Were they going to go Hero, AK going into round 28? This should be 15 on the board for forZe.
By all accounts, Hero, AK half buy for Spirit. And again, do they take another tactical pause very soon? Do they think about the potential of an overtime? Or do they just go onto this one and see what they can do with it? Mir ready to dry face in from Palace. Sunday Young's right behind him. That bomb on his back, the Deagle in tow. Nade evaded. Fortunate enough, but very quiet from Spirit here.
It seems like it's just going to be a Palace pop. See if they get a couple of flashes over the top, try to assist, but it's got to come down to at least the AK doing the majority of the damage.
Nades on Magic's again, minimal done. Incendiary's up. He pops out of connector being heard. Jerry loses the fight for it. Player back at CT now. Zorti firing away. Flip coming in from jungle to support it. Gets mid. Bomb can cross. AWP can drop him. AK Spray Magic's desperate to get a good response in. Dexter comes up with a deagle. Armors trades it to a 3-on-2. Tap through the AK. Gets it to even one more time. Seeing Zorti and making it 3 to hold Spirit together with the Quadra and go 14-all.
What? How does he know? How does he know? He doesn't know. He just spams through that smoke and gets the perfect burst. What a triple to come out for Magix. Oh my goodness. What a play in that 2v3. That was a hero AK round and they have won it. We are tied up 14-14.
Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. And what a moment for him to hold. 14-all, just when Spirit needed a turnaround round. And we'll go to full 30-round distance, but then still being able to steal it at this stage, Dwayne. It's burst up on the AKs, the fall buy back in. forZe could be crippled on their own money line here, making their way quickly onto short. Almaza is the player standing to try and defend against them. Flashes go over, Zorti rotating with the orb. One player seen, those 2 frags return back, orb being dropped, and they just clean house. All 5 kills for forZe, and they respond to Spirit just that little bit better.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful there from forZe, and for Spirit, it seemed like it was a decent call there. They're able to turn the tempo up. It's a lot quicker. It's a lot more aggressive. They smoke off the ladder room position, split their way up from short. There's one anchor on the side from Almaza, but it was how quickly Zorti was able to arrive out from marker with that orb and consistently do damage on the side. A couple of kills go his way, and for forZe, they can convert right here, take their map victory 16-14.
Wraps on the AWP, watching the center of the site, the incendiary down. Expecting there to be some sort of aggression, expecting there to be some sort of counter play, but Flip, close to the smoke, sees that one. In connector, gets the opening frag. Some players inches away from the CT forces. The hit's going to come through. Magic's being detected. Flip gets that secondary frag. Zorti drops in with the AWP. Dexter desperate to hold on. Not going to happen. Jerry finds the final 2, and forZe tip past the final hurdle. 16-14 to their favor, taking their map pick at last, and heading to map 2 with the advantage after the break. Well, not exactly the way that Spirit wanted to get things going on the start of the series. They did have themselves a close map, but a map that went the way of forZe regardless of Mirage, 16-14. And now we move on to Nuke as the second one in the series, as picked by the Spirit camp. Hoping for a bit of a better showing here, Dwayne, but forZe show that they can still contest against this team.
Yeah, they can, and they can continue to do so on Nuke. Split coming in from main. Chopper's got to realize that someone's in that main smoke. Considering he got blocked, Jerry finds that first kill. CTs are everywhere.
They've traded places with the side defensives at least, so they can't get the bomb down from here. With the kill coming in from Almas, they're taking away the first contacting player on the A retake. Damage done in the 4 versus 3, making it 2 as the P250 strikes. Kenzie gets managed to 1, and SDY with the impossible clutch. A 1-on-4 out towards lobby, faced in by Kenzie. Kenzie gets the kill, and forZe get the round.
And for forZe, they've never really been known for the last, I don't know, year or two of being a fantastic nuke team. But some of their results recently have actually looked pretty decent. They took big quite close. We saw them even taking an overtime loss against Extrasold. And they're on a 3-map winning streak. They beat Mad Lions, Copenhagen Flames, and Apex all in that main Swiss to try and see if they can move up the ranks and qualify in towards the playoffs, going through the playoff round 1 only yesterday as well. So in terms of recent performance, we know that forZe are here to play and actually have a decent stance on Nuke.
With that pistol going their way, you definitely do indicate that the momentum has swung to them and continued since that last map. What an upset it would be for forZe, by the way, to eliminate Spirit at this stage in the tournament. Their first game being invited in, and a second invitee to fall as well. Zorty's found the scout kill on Mir towards outside already, so that's the start that they want to continue on in this follow-up conversion round. Of course, forced by him from the Spirit camp sees the AKs out, one of which gets a kill to open things up on the A side defense. Jerry responded to by SDY as well, so a 3-on-3 scenario. Bomb can get picked up and planted, but it's still resistance held here by the CTs.
Yeah, retake setup coming through from forZe, but for Spirit, they're in some decent positions now. Bomb not yet planted, waiting for a little bit of a mistake, and at least SDY is hearing the footsteps out from heaven.
Face in the second bomb plant in a row here. Spirit wary about taking aggressive faces. Dexter says to hell with that. Swings on Kenzie, gets his kill. Chopper finds Flit. All left for the scout player is Zorty with plenty of work to do and knowing that he might be locked out of this round. Better save the head Kevlar. The scout will at least a rifle to play with in the next one, and even that doesn't even get away alive. 3 alive for Spirit and a very, very good force back.
Yeah, the classic CIS force buy. Didn't really get to see a lot of them out in the last map. We saw a couple of ecos being successful, but not really force buy victories being won. And well, for forZe, they know that they've got to buy back into this, but it does look very limited when you compare the buys. They've got upgraded pistols. They've got a scout out for Zorty. No body Kevlar can even be afforded either. Spirit, this is their chance to really turn things around up on their T side and get off to a flying start, especially if they start breaking the money so early on.
Yeah, the one issue that plagued Spirit throughout the course of that entire last map was money. Right now, it seems to be losing heads. It's the second scout headshot we've seen Zorty get in the last couple of rounds. And the Deagle's left in play for the CT forces, just watching out from the ramp control from the A site. CZ Jerry finds a secondary pick. It's going to be one of those games, something tells me. At least the AK finds a response, so they buy their way back into this, but Zorty's getting dangerously close to landing some more brains. As Hensi leans out to get his own headshots in against Magic. Simple kill. Swing back on the bomb. Planter gets Chopper on for the 3K. Almost steals it away. And not even a bomb plant for Spirit in this round.
I really hope Spirit don't buy here, because they're not on double eco status. Yeah, Chopper and Dexter are relatively low with the money line, but there's a fair bit of cash in the reserve coming down to the bomb plant. So there's a position where we don't have to keep going back and forth with nature of these buys. It comes down to them and the decision they want to make. And it's going to be a complete force in the end. So it comes away with a couple of AKs. They've got some upgraded Tech 9 and at least a couple of Deagles to follow. But forZe, though, what a start to that round it was by the scout and even just the Deagle play. The CZ from Jerry up close.
Again, so much damage being done right there. Spirit. AKs forcing the issue back, so forZe got something to contend with going into round 4, of course, with their own buy. Still being limited in a couple of factors, but still have plenty of firepower to work with at this stage. Zorty overwhelmed, low damage scout taken out. AK Kenzie also getting overwhelmed by the Tech 9, so there's Spirit getting a 5 versus 3.
They've got options. They can bring that bomb back up from heaven out towards the lower side, and even Magic's found another kill of the round. They realize the A is completely open. They could just bring that bomb up, and Jerry and Flit have got no option but to gamble stack. They're out towards the lower side. They've got to hold on to their weapons, and for Spirit, this just looks to be an easy second round for them.
Yeah, SDY getting the next rotator of Jerry. Last man of Flip being seen. A 1-on-5 for him, and yeah, he's kind of locked out of this. There's nothing he can really do. Take that fight and lose it still. Second to the board of Spirit, and once again we start off these maps in back and forth fashion, blow for blow on the forZe invests. I imagine forZe will continue this war of attrition. SMG brought down by Jerry already from us. Cz's, Deagles, another MP9 on Kenzie as well. So yes, forZe continuing to hold contest on CT side.
Now, Jay, I want to get the medium minor view. How long is this back and forth nature going to go? One more round? One more?
I don't even know how I can give you an answer to that, to be honest.
Just never know.
It's definitely one of the stronger force buys we've seen, at least from the CT half. Positioning off. Oh, Flit! Getting overwhelmed. Okay, now I can certainly say that forZe are going to lose it in this round. So now Spirit are going to convert 2 in a row. And yeah, no chance on this one for the CT side, it doesn't seem.
Yeah, it doesn't look that way, does it? Magic has just been able to get a couple of kills outside. And, well, now even just the smoke off towards Squeaky pretty much denies any vision from a couple of CTs. Kenzie could have a bit of a backstab in from Hell, but other than that, Spirit are pretty much everywhere. They should be able to just take this A side, get the bomb planted. SDY even on the lurkout from lobby. Does get a 2-for-1, at least doing damage on towards Jerry, and the cities are just backing off now, trying to see if they can hold on to their weapons. And for Spirit, finally they've broken the back and forth nature.
Yep. forZe's left to hold on to these weapons, especially for Jerry with the AK. Like, that's going to be so valuable to forZe moving forward. Would definitely have been fun had they been able to convert this to a 3-2 to their favor, but alas, forZe, someone's got to concede at some point, and they're just going to let this one go to the full eco. Spirit will be allowed to go up to 4 on the T side as a result. Again, maybe Jerry could do some damage with the SMG of Kenzie also being saved up here, assuming he doesn't get hunted, which looks like he might just do. Flashbang in, turned away from, completely blind. Oh, tick away from staying alive, but Mir finishes him off. Spirit, take away that AK from the CT side.
And for Spirit, it's just all about getting these T-side rounds. Now, we know for them, their balance, I guess, in comparison to most of the teams up around the Tier 1 level, is quite even when it comes to nuke from their T to CT side basis. But if they can get off to a good start, start farming up some early cash, this could be them really getting set up. And for SDY, knowing that he's running a Mac 10 into round 6, he really wants the cash.
Out and about, seeing one, dealing with. Secondary frag not quite going to be landed. 2-for-1s on the trades. Decent for the USP here to do at least some sort of kill damage, but not much will come through other than that for forZe. 2v4. Kenzie falling to leave it all on Jerry as 1. PT50 in hand. No Kevlar, no utility. No chance. Fourth to the board of Spirit.
Jerry's hearing a lot of footsteps. Can't quite find the angle though onto Magic's just above him. And he's been a very much defining factor on this T side. He's found a lot of entry kills, a lot of trade backs. So if they can get the youngster really fired up for Spirit, then that's going to be quite a scary prospect, I guess, from forZe on the defensive half. But even the buyback, it doesn't look that great. Yeah, you've got a kit up for Jerry. Very, very light when it comes to the util standpoint, and no AWP up for Zorti. This really is a must-win for forZe. Otherwise, we could be looking at a 6-2 lead for the T side.
There's many must-win rounds of forZe so far in this series, so don't count them out because it could be possible. Rifles in on the gun round, so there are AUGs and M4s to work with. No AWP, of course, but that's fine. The Spirit, the same cannot be said. They've got an AWP out for Dexter. Playing in the outside control with the majority of the Spirit players. 2 CT trying to here to respond against it, but suppressed by those smokes. Can they find the gap to work with? I think Jerry might just have one. No, he doesn't. He's still covered off. Still blind sprays through the smokes. 2 kills coming in from Dexter and Magic's. His second through smoke kill as well in this series for Magic's.
Yeah, Flit should just get domed from the top main player. Like, as soon as he starts making an info play out from Garage or Secret, he should be seen by Chopper, and there it is. This round is done. There's nothing that the CTs could do from here. What a beautiful take of the outside control, and I don't even really know how they did it, but somehow they got like 2 kills through smoke. I think one of them may have been just on the top of it, and they just continued to just rain damage. Like, Almeza has lost all of his teammates, and the only hope that he has is holding onto an M4, and even that might not happen.
Yeah, less than likely. Definitely impossible to get this round together. I mean, all players on 100 HP here for the Spirit side. Absolutely swapping the force. I can't believe Magics gets that frag together. 5 points of health damage done to the entire T-side force and a 5-2 scoreline. forZe losing definitive control. And this is the Spirit I was expecting to see in this kind of a matchup. This is the Spirit I hope that we'd see at the T-side as well over on Mirage. It was the T-side that we were looking to see start off on Mirage, and that kind of fell apart. So I wonder if that's still available here in this half of forZe, or whether they have to rely on their own T-side half to try and pick one back against Spirit.
And even on Nuke, it doesn't feel like we've seen like a star really being born as of yet. It just feels like the team play is really on point. Bait out the AWP shot early on, see if they can open up that squeaky position, but fast play out towards Rat. This could be another opening kill for the T side. Is a little bit of a trade back, so some damage being done on the Eco so far.
Hearing information, Zorti trying to rotate out the AK at the feet of SDY. Sees 2, only gets 1 frag. That's now 2 rifles that can gain here, 2 AKs in fact. Now in play, making it Jerry to follow suit with another. And well, forZe don't even need to force back to try steal something from Spirit. This is a 1-on-4 for the AWP, and as great as Dexter's been, with the rifles now out for the CT forces, it just becomes a whole lot more of a difficult task.
Oh, he even saw the player up on the side. Doesn't quite get the shot off. And look at the rifles being saved in. They get a free AWP, and they get 3 AKs for free as well. They get away with so much there, and if you're Chopper, if you're Spirit, you're sitting there just getting frustrated that last round, because there should have been no chance not only of giving up weapons really, but losing the round.
Yeah, that one's gonna hurt the Spirit side, and this one might also hurt as well. Again, the AK is in to deal with all the head Kevlar, so much firepower being gained by forZe. 4-3. Spirit playing into the lobby control for the moment on the default. Very passive positions being taken with the T side, setting up the utility for what seems to be a fast set piece into the A site. Manages to set up as the first man out of the gate, and yeah, they go very early into this, but they don't read the Rafters player. Almeza opens things up. The AWP will try to get back to position. All players getting flashed out of angles. SDY taking damage. That nade landing close to him could be able to deal it up with a kill. Actually, Mir falls through the spray of Flit, through the smoke, through the wall. 5-on-3 gained by the CT side, and now they've got to rotate back towards ramp where Kenzie's going to see them.
Yeah, he's not even giving up a fight. He goes so passive. 3 players here from the CTs out towards Hell, and the T side might just run straight into it. They've got to make a decision on whether they want to drop towards lower or contest the fight. If they do, that might just be the trap they're falling into.
I think they've got a decent read on it though. Molotovs to try to disrupt the play. And Dexter is going to go dry facing, not even a flashbang to get him in. I mean, they haven't really got any for the T side. 1 smoke left for SDY, and 2 CTs here to defend on the B site itself. Facing, seeing SDY, AUG watching the other side. And then there'll be a face. Dexter out. Second man also being seen. Chopper gets his trade back. Kenzie still makes it a 3K. And a really good sequence of frags from him for that 4th for forZe. Spirit. They've still got cash to work with, but obviously they have lost a number of decent rounds here to forZe. Very confident rounds posted by the CT side as well.
Yeah, that was a crazy amount of utility towards the top side. We saw a top hut, a molly, close vent, and back default. But the one thing that really hurt them was how much they lost out of that. They weren't able to get the entry kills. Flit was just spamming to get a 5-on-3. It forced Spirit to take the ramp control, drop towards lower, and forZe just had the information. They heard the footsteps, they knew the play. A stack up towards lower, and Kenzie has a great display. Jerry even getting aggressive outside. We haven't seen this kind of play before.
Oh, Flit again, spray through the smoke on from main. Gang SDY. Smokes down to try and set themselves up towards outside. Jerry is pressed on towards the outside control though. Mir struggling to deal with him, such low HPs. That's a secondary kill, untraded. CT's also at red box. Chopper's gonna have to focus on all sorts of players. He looks on towards the blue box position instead. Molotov will drive that one player away, but he's not going to stay around and wait for the kill to go his way. Kenzie, AK standing by, found by Magic. Simple peek in and pick, and might be access to the B site, but it's so much more for forZe to work with.
Yeah, they've got to be careful here. They can't really overextend on the city side. They've already got the man advantage. Magic is down low. Trying to see if he can get a bit of a trade back out from Hell's got to be able to land this AWP pick. He gets it, and he doesn't get traded either. The swing doesn't come out. Finally, it does from Jerry.
And that's the bomb being dropped as well. They made their way into the B site without getting bomb. Flit knows Dexter somewhere out here. When does he make a sound, or does he just hunt for this player? Looking at a dark window opened up, and Dexter can adjust against it. 2-on-2 now. Chopper with a big old backstab of his own right. Both CTs, however, will be ready for it. They know where Dexter is. They have an inkling to where the other is. I think that one CT came in from lobby control. Time is ticking as well for Spirit. Almost knows that he can way back in the corner. So can Jerry. Jerry not being seen. No pixels given up. Dexter be the man to act. 10 seconds. Kills going to come in simultaneously. Turn away from Jerry. Gets that one frag. Almost gets the second. And forZe win another one against Spirit. Very sloppy T-side rounds, and 5-all now to the board.
Well, that was a beautiful crossfire. You could not have played that any better from forZe in the 2v2. They've got bomb control, and just the way they position themselves. They don't jiggle peek. They're silent. They're both hiding in hard cover. Time is low, and they wait for the T's to make the mistake. As soon as those sound cues come forward, they peek on each other's contact. They're able to isolate the duels. And for Spirit, they're now starting to lose it a little bit. A couple of rounds in a row now for forZe, tied up again. Very similar to how the first half of Mirage went down, that it was back and forth. We didn't see many streaks, and we saw plenty of tied up scorelines.
Smokes onto the outside controller, standard for Spirit's default. forZe struggled to deal with this when they had it out, so maybe it's a good time to return back to formula. Flit is still looking for a gap in the midst of it. He almost found one right there, but doesn't see anything of this T side. It's just flashes forward into Garage. He's going to hear those footsteps at least, so there's information to gain. Wins the fight on the player as Silo turns up for the secondary frag, doubling up. Can't make it a triple though, but that doesn't matter. Him and his teammates have cleaned house.
Yeah, he's just sitting in the open and somehow is able to find a couple of kills. The adjustment up towards Silo and then back towards T-Red was impeccable. And SDY and Mir have got to try and clutch a 2v4, and even Kenzie, first time we've seen him get aggressive out towards ramp. There might be a bit of a window for SDY to start moving out from Squeak, get towards the A side, but in a 1 versus 4, this just doesn't seem like it's going to happen at all. Shouldn't find any more trades, and no, Almeza is going to deny any in doing. AK is being recovered now for plenty for the CTs, and forZe, these last few rounds have looked very easy, at least in the opening portion, and that one continued being easy.
The lead has gone the way of the CT forces. Eventually their CT side starts to spool up, and what was looking like a confident affair from Spirit has turned the way of forZe, and it's a bit of a commonality, I feel like, you know, on the T side especially. The early game goes well for Spirit, the late game starts to tip back to the favor of forZe before one team definitively comes out on top towards the end of it. 2-for-1s, 3-for-1s on this trade. The tactic on the rush, not quite as effective as they like to do for the upgrade pistol round. Flick caught them, removing his own silencer. Might just cost them the round still. Kenzie all alone, facing from Sumdai Young, and Sumdai Young wins it. And, well, that was just mistakes there from forZe that cost them.
First of all, why is Flit just like pushing through a smoke like that? Second of all, yeah, he gets unlucky by accidentally right-clicking the silencer, but that should have just been them playing the retake. They've got the numbers game. Almeza held such a long time from getting consistent damage. And forZe, they just get sprung in the chaos. They just overthink things and just try and rush in. It gets too chaotic, and eventually for Spirit, they turn that eco into a round.
Rush tactics. Again, it looked like it was going to be pretty easy for forZe to clean it up because, you know, the 3 kills coming in from Heart. So I don't know how they let that one go. But Spirit have rebolstered themselves, ready to go on to round 13 with full guns out for both sides. Pretty pivotal in terms of the economy game because both teams are having to force back down. Damage done to forZe, of course. Spirit only saving a couple of rifles. Money is still there for certain high rollers, and Dexter opens up the kill counts, defeats Zorti on outside.
A big kill to find, and there's even a player in Garage. Now, forZe have kind of left this position pretty much untamed for the majority of the CT rounds. Flip finds the first, needs to follow up, and he does. He drops that bomb, looking to find the triple, but doesn't happen.
3-on-3, taking a ton of damage, and that allows kentzy in with the frag. Now 2-2 on the Spirit side, making it one good slow face from SDY. Does win a decent fight, but 40 seconds to find 2 more. Grab that bomb that's also in garage. Don't know if he heard Almaz or if he's well aware of him in the squeaky door, in the squeaky backline position. He'll check it slowly, and the fight's won by the CT player. So forZe can defend their lead.
Disappointing again from Spirit. I think the expectations are a lot higher to converting these rounds. Like, Dexter got the first pick out from Silo. It's a 5-on-4, but they just struggle to trade out Flip from Garage, and then even the incendiary that goes down towards the sort of exit of it forces Chopper into the open, allows another great pick to come through. Damn, this is looking promising from forZe. I really didn't think they'd have as much of an easier time of what they're having right now on Nuke. I thought this would be the perfect opportunity for Spirit to start coming into their own, really dominate this map, but instead it just hasn't been like that.
A moment's respite here as forZe and Spirit take that moment. Spirit especially, you've got to figure out how they bring themselves back from this deficit, because again, they got such a stunner of a start. The 8 could be on the board for the CT side, and that could just about be enough there for the forZe camp. Utility at the ready towards outside. Once again, Spirit are going to go back to this same sort of smoke set default, but what can they find with it? They need to make some adjustments here. Where are the adjustments most likely?
But this is just going to be the walk towards outside. Bit of spam trying to come through from Flip, merely taking a bit of a stray bullet, getting in from Secret, but haven't really committed to a lot of lower takes from Secret. The majority of the time they've actually hit lowers that been out from ramp. So actually utilizing this outside control and trying to commit towards a B side. But look at the rotations. They've got 2 players here.
Warp and M4 at the ready. Warp in particular, ready for the face-up. Taps on, good shot. Zorti connects on the bomb carrier, puts that nade to their position to suppress. But it's got to turn back towards them here because they are inbound. Mollying the AWP out of angle. Flip sees 3, does get dealt with by Chopper. Now Zorti, all the work to do. Backup is arriving from ramp. Have stalled for time though. Spirit has slowed this down.
Yeah, they brought more time though for the CTs to get into position. Zorti needs a little bit of help, and at least he's got a teammate at kentzy to provide him with that.
And they start falling away, thinking that there might be a rotation inbound. There might still be a rotation inbound, actually. They're moving up from the vents. Being very careful about where they take their next phase. 30 seconds, and SDY sees nothing on the outside. Jerry might swing upon him, missed his window opportunity, so now it'll be a split play. Orb shot doesn't connect. Dexter gets the kill, and now opens up the B site for the take. They've still got kentzy on the ramp entrance to swing back, get afraid back to a 3 versus 3. Eventually finds that kill back in. Trade's not good enough. He makes it 3 kills. And SDY with 7 seconds. Bomb out in the open. An impossible clutch so long as one CT stays alive at least. kentzy will face. Last man of Jerry holds back at dark, and SDY loses the round.
I can't believe kentzy gets 3. How does he get 3 there? He's mollied out towards the right-hand side of ramp. It looks like he's a bit more of an overextension to re-peek out towards Obs. He misses his timing on the first. He goes right. I'm going to re-peek again. That should be the trade. He follows up with the spray. 2 players falling out for decontamination. And kentzy, the youngest player on this team, one of the newest players to join up, has a masterful round in the last.
forZe on the front foot, another first kill going their way. You can see the stats of how many times they've converted opening frags into rounds themselves. Spirit is still trying to make this one a bit of an exception to it, though. They find a quick trade in a 4 versus 4, which actually puts them at the advantage, with Jerry being on 9 points of health thanks to his shenanigans. Gonna rotate in to join the likes of the Ram defensive. He is the player on the off angle, but the T's don't face him. They actually back off.
Yeah, that re-smoke that comes through from Jerry actually forces Team Spirit to now start moving a little bit further away back into lobby. Ooh, boost up. If it is a ramp commit, is anyone going to check this?
The best place for him, especially if kentzy can pull distraction away. No. Gets out of dodge, looking at outside. The Molotov Flashbang turned in from, and they do check it. The kill comes in, but they line up for the AUG. He burns, though. The T's make their way downstairs. 3-on-2. Advantage Spirit. forZe, very difficult retake to make here.
Yeah, they can get Almeza to drop quickly in towards the vents, but it's still going to take some time to get them towards lower, and they're down by members. They've got to make a play.
Oh, Isolate Chopper here at the observation room. Good kill on Almeza. Swing back in the open. Seeing the second. And Magic's all alone with the Galil. Smoke back, sees his man spray through. Decontamination player can swing back, and Zorti can finish off the job of this round as forZe managed to make it work regardless of the man disadvantage. Both players playing that one to a T, especially Almeza for 9-6 up on the CT side.
I'm well impressed. I really am here from forZe. They were down 2-5 in the early portion of Nuke, and they've been able to win 7 out of the past 8 rounds, looking convincing, making smart decisions, making good plays, isolating Jules. I mean, how does Almeza get away with so much out for double doors? And it's just the distraction to allow Zorti to come in from decon.
forZe came prepared for this game.
They did.
And the question we were asking about this this team, and knowing that the old core has been the only thing that remains of this forZe side that's taken on Spirit. Again, Spirit have never taken on a forZe with the two new additions. So Kenzie and Zorti looking to prove themselves against one of their oldest rivals on the forZe side. As the pistol round goes live for the second half, and Spirit on the CT forces force back so passively here. Jump around the corner for Jerry, does not get that first kill. Almost there with a trade, and Zorti swinging back on the next CT on the outside control. The USP backing up inside, in towards main. Julie's also out here to try and support it here as the CT's forced forward, and Almeza desperately taps on, tries to look for something back here, but the man advantage tips the way at the Spirit side.
Oh, they don't know about Magic's, though, out towards heaven, and now with the bomb being dropped, it's going to be a really difficult situation to try and bring this round back. They're going to head towards lower. No one's here from the CTs.
Here in the vent dive here, Flit.
Back to upper.
Call back in. I think he does, but Kentie's got a lot more resistance to deal with. Has to deal with that one player, and now Flit's going to have to cut them off from the vent control. A site's opened up. They're all coming in from the lower bomb site. 3-on-2 for this retake. Pretty simple, Kenzie. Get that plant in, open for main. Flit has seen one. Julie's ready for SDY. And Mir wraps in, sees them both. Headshot landed, Flit all left alone to the clutch. It's not going to happen. 3 kills for Mir. And the defuse being locked in by Spirit. At least the bomb plant comes through for forZe, so they can force the issue into the second of the half.
Yeah, that was a pretty crazy round from forZe. Like, it's a lot of aggression. They try and get out towards Hell. They don't really win the trades, and when the bomb just gets dropped towards Hell, they try and fake the lower take, and they know that Flit's still waiting out from Squeaky. He hears 2 players dropping down in vent, so try and see, Kenzie, if you can bring that bomb back or get it planted. Unfortunately, Mir just beats them to the timing out towards that ramp flank. Come in from lobby, get a couple of great kills, but with that bomb plant going down, they can afford the force buy, but for Spirit, that's a well-taken site.
forZe not ready for the counter-play of the Spirit defensive. Again, losing another pistol to this side, but forcing the issue back with an AK in for Kenzie, and a player that probably is rightfully earned his AK, considering how well he was doing on that CT side. Most impactful rounds for him. Mir watching out from credit cards, smoked off, damage being done, point blank gets that kill alongside Dexter's scout shot through the smoke. AK picks up to get a double. And Zorti finally trades back Mir's part of things, but he is one of 2 players left. Jerry, the other one, so heavily tagged. Bomb on the outside position. Deagle tapping up, does manage to get another good frag back onto him, and Nade so close to Jerry. Further Deagle shots not quite connecting, but they're trying to make as much damage as possible here for forZe. Best bet given the circumstances, and well, they only get 2 casualties for it. 3 alive for Spirit. Eco up for forZe now.
I think it's a very good possibility that we could start transitioning into a bit of a period where this is almost like the second half of Mirage, where Spirit get off to a bit of a good lead, they start stringing rounds together, then maybe it gets a little bit more competitive later on, but you kind of look in the position here, not a lot of money to follow here for forZe, so on the eco, there are some players investing quite heavily, so they really need to try and pull some damage out of it. If they could drop the AK from Dexter, then that will at least be a big difference maker.
AK inbound, Jerry gets that Tech 9 in against Dexter. Frag found SMG back and forth, 4v3, making it to the rush tactic, working for forZe just like it did for Spirit. Magic such low HP, dealt with by Flit and Chopper up in the rafters. At least drops one more, but now being known, that bomb can get planted on B. There could be a backstab set up by that AK. Almaza rotates out, Chopper watching. Closing out, opening the window. Looking back onto the back lines of the site. No kit for him, 10 seconds to this defuse. Taps it once, no contact phase, double doors. Tapped, Jerry gets his headshot in for his 3K, and forZe denies Spirit taking the lead.
You know when you put like a bag of popcorn in the microwave and it starts getting bigger and bigger and it just starts popping and everything starts just getting under chaos? That's what's happening in my brain right now. Like, what is that round? How do they win it? I mean, it's not even many upgrades. You've got a couple of upgraded pistols, a little bit of utils, some Kevlar here or there. That's just not good enough for Spirit. I can understand it against the force buy, but not against the eco. It can't happen.
The Mag 7 of SDY, Molotov's inbound, looking to drop in against the forZe camp, knowing that that might be the linchpin player that could turn the tide in their favor. Smokes on from us. I think he may have just spotted Jerry right there. Okay, looking to the back of the A site, very carefully positioned, very carefully considered. Jerry gets that kill, opens it up for the T side, follows with the Kenzie. Doubles up on Mir as well, and the Mag 7 does get one frag at least to return, but he's one of two players remaining. The other one is a pistol. I mean, you could get Jerry as well and open up a chance, actually. Okay, AK picked up. Third frag, not quite. All left the Chopper. Recovering another FAMAS. Backs turn towards the next T-side player to face. He turns back on Zorti, actually, so that's another good kill. AK once again picked up at the CT4Cs. Spray could line up, but it doesn't connect to Almaza. Not even a tag. forZe just defend the round.
Oh, that was a close one. That was a sweat fest, but they're up against the force buy, and at least they've come out on top. That's an important clutch to win. Really nice frags to come out. SDY giving a fighting chance in that from playing the top of hut with that Swag 7. Just trying to see if he can find as much impact as possible. Try and set Chopper up for the 1v3. 11-8 up now for forZe. And it just came to some of the advantages towards outside. Kenzie has been a consistent top performer over the course of Nuke. He's been really that factor where he's always putting up numbers, always putting up big performances, round in, round out.
Spirit haven't got much that they can go big on in this particular round. Deagles and USPs. Only one Deagle really for SDY, and a stack in towards the ramp control. The best that they got here. Carefully placed by forZe. Don't have to expect the force buy in, or whether there's a stack in play or something. If they lean towards the A site, which is what they're doing right now, they'll realize that there's no one here from Spirit. So Dexter could be on wrap, could be on rotate. Zorti will be ready with the AK, however, so he could potentially get every single mop-up frag. Also, could be looking the wrong way at the wrong moment. Or how does he get away with that one frag? I don't even know, but now they know where the majority of the CT forces are, and actually they get away with a man advantage.
Okay, this is good for a moment here from Spirit, but they need to get a kill back, and at least Kenzie is being able to deny those weapons from being picked up. Finds a nice triple, good crosshair placement out towards Garage. And for a moment, okay, hang on, maybe there is a little bit more of a moment. How have they got 3 kills?
Chopper's going to bait him in for a little bit more. Bomb needs to get picked up and planted once again. Kenzie going to provide covering fire. Chopper's chance to rotate via vents was, via lobby was right there, going from hut. Knowing his footsteps on outside, Jerry. Okay, gets the UMP frag in the end. Did get a little bit dicey. Again, 3 picks, like you mentioned, on the USPs, but Spirit not able to win the round. So we're looking at a 12-8 again. forZe pulling ahead of Spirit in the second half. Is there a comeback on the table, or could this be a surprising 2-0 for the underdogs?
I really didn't see this being an upset. I knew it would be close because CIS Derby's always delivering that way, but for forZe to be able to do it in 2-0 fashion would be incredible, and it's looking like it's really possible here. 4 rounds the difference, 4 rounds up to 16 for forZe. The auto shotgun from SDY just evading the flames towards top of heart.
Spirit Having Mir instead as the opening frag, grabbing that AK. No further contact, no further kills. 5-on-4 situation, Spirit. Going to wait in their positions, knowing the forZe are not going to act that quickly again this round.
And not playing anyone towards this lower site, so Kenzie will be able to open it up, but they've got to deal with the ramp anchor. They've got to be able to try and bait him through, and at least they find that trade back on a chopper. Back to a 4v4 now.
But Mir finds his secondary pick to a 4-on-3. Flit on outside and still can't get this low HP member to fall. CT's on rotate back up towards the secret entrance. 3 players. Now all 4 going to join them downstairs from the same angle. The XM will try and get the first contact kill, but they're all going to bunch up. Kenzie and Almas have got a lot of work to do, and Magix and SDY turn it all on Zorti. The last player left of forZe, close over at ramp, smoke down on double doors. No info at Decon. The window's also been opened up, but now it's been tapped again, giving away the information. Spirit didn't need to do that. Could have snuck their way forward. And Zorti, look at how twitchy he is. He has no idea where to expect the CTs from. Just waiting for the smoke to clear up. There are no kits as well for them. Incendiaries on dark, does not drive them out of position. No footsteps heard. Flashing their way forward. Check the corner. Spray lines up for the first, not the second. And Dexter, surely he's got no time. He's out of there, saving the AK, conceding 13 to forZe again.
It's another clutch. It's another huge clutch. If there was a kit in play, it would have happened, but without it, they just run out of time. And you almost expect from Spirit, when they realize they're in a 2v1 without that kit, that you've got to get a move on and at least try and get the info of where Zorti's playing from. He was very, very twitchy, very shaky in that 1v2, but it pays off. He's able to win it. And forZe have now got 4 in a row. They are really starting to believe. They are super in this game.
Nades, flashes, fast rushing from forZe. They're trying to overwhelm the pistol players, but the Mag 7 still here for SDY. Gets 1 frag and only 1 frag. Jerry and Kenzie responding to him and Magix. Smokes on towards Mini. The bomb is on the site. Should get the bomb plant. Do Spirit go for the retake here?
Yeah, they must do, at least for a couple of players. Maybe not the AK from Dexter, but try and see what you can get out of this. You know it's not a full buy round, and so much spam is coming through up towards the position. Kenzie with another double. Jerry being able to trade out the last, so no weapons being saved into the next. Spirit, what has happened in the second half? They won pistol, won the anti-eco, and they haven't bounced back from that.
14-8. Like you mentioned, pistol conversion. And other than that, 5 rounds in a row for forZe. They are on victory row and only a couple of rounds away from taking it in 2-0 fashion. This would be a severe disappointment for Spirit. Going out in their first series played here in Spring Sea Spring. M4 sees Jerry, caught blind, back turn. They still have no idea where Mir is. Dexter can't turn that all back in against a secondary frag on Almaza. SDY suppressing from Squeak Key. Mir's finally overwhelmed by Kenzie, but 1 HP for him. Plenty of work to do for forZe.
And now we're starting to see outside looking to be contested. Bit of a gap in that main smoke. Might be able to deal with Flit. Trying to just see if they can get a little bit of an angle. Timing is everything. Flit could get the important kill.
Oh, and when the smoke clears up, Flit's watching outside, inside. SDY is covered off. Scene 1, there's Zorti with the kill. He doubles up and Flit's not even necessary. 3-on-2, obscene spray back to 1. He gets his kill in the end. And they fight back from the brink again in round 23. Chopper in a 1v3. No kit, there is one dropped in the open on the site. But surely this shouldn't be workable.
Now that's got to be Zorti's biggest moment the entire series. That round right there. Chop up, trying to see if he can go in for the retake, but the goods just aren't there. He's got no kit. Incendiary out towards the back of the side of default. We'll try and see if they can spread flare out into the open. Kenzie's incredibly low, but he's got to try and isolate the picks, and it just doesn't happen. 15 now up for forZe. And you look in that position, all they're trying to do is bait. They want to try and get Flit involved out from main, get the distractions being pulled, and Zorti finds 2 kills on the floor from Squeak.
So wonderfully done from him. And again, we were talking Flit's going to get the crucial kill. Flit's going to get the crucial kill. Didn't even need him. And now map and match point for forZe. Nades on, smokes out, another rush tactic here from the T side. Line straight out of the gate. XM seen, sprayed through. One player in the back corner. And that's Magic's combining alongside Dexter from our spray for Chopper now as they wrap back in towards the ramp position. Molotov will suppress on both ends of the entries. forZe may be forced to slow things down.
They've over-rotated the CT side. There's two players playing out towards lower now, and they're starting to regroup, get back in from lobby, go in for maybe a walkout or just a set piece in towards A.
Rifles turned away from as the T side start to wrap back out towards the outside control, and there are nobody aggressing here from the Spirit side. forZe have all the broom to work with here with the utility going down on A. They still think it's going to be an A stack. There's a lot of players out here.
Yeah, starting to see a little bit of movement coming through from Mir, but it's a bit of a position that Almace is even holding the lobby crunch, and he's been able to catch him off.
Frag found from us in for Chopper, does catch Flit off guard. Two more to find out a mini. There's Zorti taking the face on Dexter, and Jerry finds Magic's all to Chopper for Mars. Tagged heavy to save Spirit in this one. He'll look to the back corner, catch off the headshot of the one man. That's one for free, but it needs to go for two more. Nades on, damage done. Swinger Zorti gets it 16-8. forZe have pulled off a 2-0 above Spirit. I don't think in their entire history against this side that they've ever had a 2-0 over the Spirit side. That has got to be one of the biggest results for this new look forZe side.
It does. It really does. And for forZe, I even want to say that Kenzie's probably had the game of his career. When you think about the teams that he's been on previously, now going over to forZe and 2-0ing Spirit, for him to have the performance he did with the opening frags, with the impact that he was able to get, what an incredible game. And for Spirit, they came to play, but they just really weren't able to bring the fight. It was close on the first map, didn't even feel competitive on the second. And who would have seen forZe just being able to slap Spirit around on their map pick a nuke?
Absolutely. That's the shocking part about it. It's like you can understand where they win on Mirage, and that was a really close affair. And then to go 16-8 up on Nuke, that's unheard of for this map up. Like, the last time that they played it was a 16-5 for Spirit. So for forZe to go that much further shows that they really did their homework today. And I'll just take a look at all the matches very quickly to confirm that, yes, this is the first ever 2-0 that this core of forZe have taken over Team Spirit, which is a huge, huge result for them. What a matchup for these guys. And, well, that's our second invited team out of the table here, Dwayne. I was kind of shocked. I genuinely didn't think Spirit were going to struggle this much.
No, I didn't either. They're boot camping, they're playing all together, and for a lot of these tier 1 teams, like, you come down to the Snow Sweet Snow and Spring Sweet Springs, you win 3 best of 3s, you get 40 grand, and you get invited into the LAN later on or into early next year. Like, on paper, it seems easy. It's like, oh, yeah, we'll win a couple of games, yeah, we might play some teams that we've played before, and simple as. But we're just seeing the invited teams, not every cup, but most cups, actually really getting taken to the edge. We've seen Ents already eliminated in a 2-0 fashion, Spirit now eliminated in a 2-0 fashion. Like, even Extremum took Fnatic to 16, 14, 30 rounds on their map, or their map of the third one over that decider. So I kind of look at this and think, man, the teams that are coming through from Main Swiss, they're giving it everything they've got.
They really are, and for forZe especially, again, to highlight what we were thinking about this particular bracket of the invite squads, of the 8 teams that we had left coming into today, I think a lot of people looked at Spirit and said that's going to be their title. This is going to be theirs to win, and they've lost it. I cannot believe that they lost it like this. Again, it's not just a 2-0. Again, it's the fact that second map was so one-sided, and I'm kind of stunned. forZe have every right to pat themselves on the back. It was a well-fought victory for them, a one-sided victory to a certain extent, and I think that they have every reason to be very excited to look forward into the semi-finals. But the question now remains, Blake, who is going to be that team forward to the semi-finals? Will it be the Sinister